We're live!
Yeah, but there's something wrong with the image.
Oh, hello.
Well, that's being fixed by our director, Maurice.
Applause for Maurice. Yay!
Applause for Maurice.
Yes.
Well,
we're back again.
Yeah, there we are. Welcome. Great that you're watching our live stream about logo design, because you're going to make a logo this block for your communication agency, and that's why we are providing you with the latest tips and tricks on making a logo.
Yes, and it's a kind of different kind of setting, because normally you're used to Blackboard Collaborate, but yeah, because of it's the first class, we wanted to try out something new. So we have a whole technical installation over there, and we're streaming from the Media Lab. So it's fun to try something different, right?
Yeah, and while we are live on YouTube, you can make use of the YouTube chat to, ask some questions, but above all, just participate in the interactive parts of this course.
Yeah, so we try to make it as interactive as possible, and if you have a question in between, just ask them and we answer it. So yeah, we're going to start with the theory, I think. So we're starting with this famous logo, and this is the famous logo of Nike, of course. But do you guys know what this logo actually is? What does it visualize? What does it stand for? So you can drop that in the chat if you already know what Nike tried to visualize here.
Yeah, and any other association that you have yourself with this logo is good as well. So you can guess, make a guess as well.
So we have a little delay of a few seconds.
Yeah, we have a delay. We have a 20-second delay. So between your questions and our answer can be at least 20 seconds. Well, Madeleine Sander asked, will this video be uploaded to YouTube after the session? Yes, it will be automatically saved, so you can watch this back. Joyce says, a boomerang.
A boomerang, that's really, yeah, it looks like a boomerang.
Davide Z says, a wing.
Oh,
a wing.
Oh.
Let's wait, the wing from a god, I believe, says Lente.
Mm-hmm. You're very, very good.
And Megan agrees with that.
Yeah, I will show you the...
yeah, what it is, what Nike is, and then you will see that your answers will be correct.
I haven't had that open yet. Is that the one with the Nike sign somewhere?
Yeah, if you search for a Nike god on YouTube, YouTube, on Google, then you will see the image with the Nike logo as well. Yeah.
So as you can see, Nike, now we all know how to pronounce it correctly as well, because it's Nike, it's not Nike. Because Nike was the Greek goddess of victory, and you can see that the wing is visualized in the Nike logo. It looks a bit like this, and of course the Nike logo is really simplistic, and you can also see some speed in it. But the visualization is the wing of the goddess, as you can see over here. And there's a funny story behind this logo, because there was a student in the 70s, an American student, American graphic design student. She made this logo for $35 in 18.5 hours. And that is so cheap for a logo, because nowadays when you are a good logo maker, you can make lots of money.
That's fun, because it was Phil Knight, the man behind Nike, who wanted to start a new company, and he was searching for someone who could make it, and then he met her at, some kind of party.
Yeah, true.
And then she said, okay, I will make you a logo.
For $35.
Yeah, he just paid her the hours that she needed to make it, so in a couple of hours she was done, and then he had this logo for his $1 million company.
Yeah, so it's still so famous nowadays, and But she did got some credits because she has now a beautiful Nike ring with the golden swoosh on it.
Ooh.
And she has, what did she had more? Like stocks?
Maybe $1 million?
Yeah, like $1 million of stocks of the company Nike. So in the end, it was all good.
Yeah.
But if you take a look at the Nike logo, so this is only the, kind of the trademark. How do you say that correctly in English?
Yeah, what was it? The image, so you have the word mark and the, it's called...
yeah, something that visualizes the brand. There's not a specific word for that in English, because we talked to Dick about that as well. But it's more like yeah, I have the word in my mind, but I can't call it. What is the name again for
maybe the icon-like.
Yeah, the icon-like thing, but there was another word for it. But I will come to that later.
And well, maybe some of the students know what it is, but in Dutch we have woordmerk, so wordmark.
Yeah, woordmark and beeldmerk.
Yeah, beeldmerk, but it's the image that completes the logo.
Yeah. So maybe you can tell a little bit more about a wordmark.
Yeah, because we have several kinds of brands that only use the word mark, like IKEA. They don't have this icon or sign or image in their logo. But there's a lot of companies that actually have this image. So, for instance, what is a good company? Well, a good example of a company with an image in their logo. Well, Nike, of course, with their swoosh. Adidas with the little leaves. Puma with a puma. And so on. So they have this combination of the word mark and the icon, and together they make the logo. And the fun thing of and the handy thing of the Nike logo is that they can use it in more than one way. What we see here is an Air Max model. I had a different a different version of the sheet in which you saw two other models of the shoe. But the idea is that Nike in this model only makes use of the swoosh, but then they also have shoes on which the complete logo is printed, or only the word mark, only the name Nike without the swoosh. So it's a very versatile logo.
Yeah, you can see below that you see like the logo of Pepsi, and they renewed it, and it cost over more than like $1 million. And
really? That's crazy.
Yeah, because the change is not that big, right?
I don't even, I think maybe the older logo is even better.
Yeah, in my opinion as well. But as you can see, if you're a great logo designer, you can make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go on to the another famous logo.
Yeah, they actually had a presentation of their newest products again this week, and what I really like about Apple is how they adjusted their logo throughout the years to the products that they are making in certain years, because we now all have this very futuristic, modern-looking MacBooks, and they fit perfectly to the also very simplistic logo that we have, but that hasn't been always the case. That hasn't always been the case.
Yeah.
Because if we go back all the way to 1976, then you can see what was Apple's very first logo, and maybe you have a bigger image of that, because this is almost like a painting, and it's very beautiful. But it's maybe a bit too beautiful for the backside of your iPhone. Yeah. It has a lot of detail, and you can see a man sitting below an apple, and the apple is about to fall on his head. So you can already guess
who this guy is.
Who this is.
Yeah, Isaac Newton, because he discovered gravity. And there's a lot of stories about the logo of Apple. So this is one of the stories that they chose in Apple because It was at the beginning of their logo, of course. But do you know another story about the Apple logo?
Yeah,
the
well,
phone book?
yeah, the other famous story.
Yeah.
Well, in early times, when you needed a company, then you got the phone book and you searched through it. And if you wanted to call a computer company, then you looked under computer companies. And then one of the first names you found was Atari. And Apple just was searching for a name that would appear above Atari in the phone book. And that's why it's called Apple, because the P comes before the T.
Yeah.
So that's one of the most easy stories about the name.
Yeah, so later on they made a way simpler logo, because the first logo, too much details, you can't recognize that on a little phone or smaller sizes. So this was the first Apple logo like we know it nowadays. And they have a lot of color in there because...
Well, Apple was the very first company to launch a computer with a color screen.
Yes.
And that's why the rainbow logo was made. But the image itself has always been the same throughout the years. Only the colors changed, and that was because they made a lot of different kind of products, like these beautifully cute iMacs.
Cute. Still want one.
From around the millennium. Or this iBook, and you can see the translucent colors of the product translated into the also translucent logo. Well, it changed in around 2006, because then they had this aluminum body MacBook Pros, and that reflected again in the logo, because then we had this gray version of it.
Yes. Next on, we see some logos without the actually word in it. So we do miss the word mark in there. But can you recognize the brands of these logos? There are some Dutch logos in there, but maybe you recognize them. So you can drop it in the chat if you know the answers.
Oh yeah, of course. These are, a couple of these are Dutch.
Yeah, but we also have
brands.
some Dutch students. And
They
live already in the Netherlands, so they probably know the supermarket one.
So the supermarket, but we are above the supermarket in the live stream.
Oh.
So maybe you can turn off
our
Mr.
heads.
Director. Yes,
thank
and then
you,
we
Maurice.
have the famous shopping brand. So guess the logo.
Guess the logo.
So Ivana says Disney. We have Lacoste, Innocent, Rabobank, Philips. Yes, it's Philips. Veronica.
Very good.
Yeah, great. That's funny. Divine. Is surprised that Apple was like the apple from Newton. Yeah.
Albertijn, Ola.
Albertijn. Yeah, so you can see every single one of you.
Joyce has them all correct, I think.
Oh, this is so fun. Francie Prijs. She is from Germany, I think, because she calls it Langnese. And that's funny because Ola is Langnese in Germany. So that's funny because the name Ola is not below the heart shape.
Yeah, true.
But it's good, yeah. Jasmine Elzira, she failed her theory exam 2 days ago. That's sad.
Sorry for you.
So you will not have very nice feelings with this logo. But it's actually a very great logo, the design of it, because if you take a closer look, then you can clearly see that it's a highway, and the three letters are combined into that. So the C, the B, and the R.
So for the international students, this is where you...
where you get your driver's license.
Yeah, where you get your driver's license.
If
I have also
very
terrible memories about it. Yeah. And there was one guy or one student last year. He always thought that the Philips logo was like a washing machine.
Oh, could be.
Yeah, it
I
could
don't
be.
know, but no, Philips doesn't make any washing machines.
No.
Yeah, Ivana says, the hardship in my country is called Algida.
Yeah, so that's really funny that they have different kind of names in different kind of countries.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, next slide. So we already talked about the ingredients that a logo should have, and a logo, of course, should have some color in it. But it's really hard to find the correct color because there's so many colors in the world.
So to help you on your way, we have a couple of tips on that.
Yeah, so the first thing is that we're going to do a little test. So 8 to 10% of men and 1% of the women are colorblind, and you have difficulties to distinguish the color green and red. So do you guys recognize the numbers in the circles? So we did that a couple hours ago with Dutch students, and we saw that some of them couldn't find the correct numbers.
No, a couple of them. Well, it could also have been the
the
YouTube
screen resolution. Yeah, that can also be.
But I actually had a couple of real colorblind people in my class last year.
Yeah. So can you recognize the numbers in the circles?
Tomo S says Philips has washing machines. I cannot. Does Philips have? I don't know. I never saw a Philips washing machine.
Maybe.
Okay, so the numbers are coming in. 12, nothing. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, the second one is.
The second one is hard.
Yeah, hard to see. Yeah. And if you see something completely else, then just be honest. We won't make fun of you. But it's interesting to see what people do see when they are colorblind.
42, 12, I don't know.
74 and 6. Well, they are all correct.
But we see that the second number is way harder.
Yeah, some people don't know, but a lot do see the 2, and it is a 2.
Yeah. So the thing is, when you are colorblind, it's hard for you to distinguish red and green. So you should also think about it in your logo design, because if people can't read it, then they, of course, can't remember your logo. So make sure you find a good color combination that works and that the readability is very high. Are there some other answers still? Yeah, kind of T2 on the second, yeah. Yeah, so you can already see that it's kind of hard when you use the same colors in the same palette. Then it's way harder to recognize the numbers in there. So let's take a look at the heraldic color system.
Yeah, because well, you can combine colors, of course, but there's which colors would you like to combine then?
Yeah.
And there's a nice system to that, and that's called the heraldic color system, and it's in fact a very, very old
it goes way back.
System. It goes way back to the times from before Game of Thrones. And why was that? Because well, they were fighting all the time, and
in the battlefields, yeah.
And that was their working day. They were going to the battlefield, and then well, the heroes of the
knights, yeah.
The knights of the left party had this banners, and the heroes, the knights of the right party, also had their banners.
Flags, yeah.
Yeah, so you could recognize who was who on the battlefield, and well, all these banners had these combinations of a couple of these colors that you see over here. And well, it's a system that we still use every week during sports.
My favorite sport of all time.
Yeah, so well, not only football clubs or soccer clubs. I don't know how it depends on where you live, or if it's football or
but
soccer.
in all different kind of
in all kind of
sports.
different of sports, they use this for the club colors.
Yeah, which is very funny. And then what's the color purple in the corner? Why is it there?
I don't know. Maybe because it's not.
It's added later on, I think.
Yeah. But then I thought of FC Barcelona.
Oh yeah.
And Barcelona does have purple in its purple and a bit of red, yellow, or gold in their clothing.
Yeah. So we have the heraldic color system. What do we have in here? Oh yeah. But of course, colors do have a meaning as well. And this is all about the connotation. And you already learned about connotations last year in block 3 in the video block 1.3, right?
I'm not
in the media seminars, we talked about the connotations.
Connotations?
Yeah, so connotation is
Well,
based upon your
yeah.
own beliefs and your religion and your own culture, and it's about the value, like the how do you say that properly, the feeling you get by looking at something.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly it.
Yeah, for example, this is like a scheme, but it's not fully. Yeah, not all the countries are on there, of course, and not all the cultures in there.
No, it's not a complete.
It's not a complete scheme, no.
Scheme, but
you can already see, like the color pink is in the Western cultures, caring, girls, woman, love. But in Japan, the color pink stands for boys. So you also should keep in mind what is your target group. So are they women? Are they men? Is it going to be Europe? Is it going to be only the Netherlands? Is it going to be worldwide? Because you need to know what different colors mean in different kind of cultures and different kind of countries. For example, if you take a look at blue, blue is the most chosen color for a logo design, because from the old days, all gods come from above and the sky is blue. So that's why there are less negative connotations with the color blue. Yes, so keep that in mind. And another thing what's really important is contrast.
Anna Helder in the chat says purple was too expensive back in the day, right? I think you
Oh,
might be
yeah,
right.
yeah, you might be
Why
right.
it wasn't part of the heraldic color system, but then added because it was used, but maybe only for the very rich.
It's a really good
that could be
good
that could
comment.
really be true, yeah.
So contrast.
Yeah, contrast is a thing that that you should keep in mind when combining several colors, because your design has to have a good contrast. Now, why is that? Well, it's the difference between what's in the foreground and what's in the background, and the difference between those two colors has to be very what is it? Big? Large? No? I can't talk English anymore. There should be a very, very, very big difference between the two colors. Because otherwise, if the two colors are about the same, it's very hard to see what's on the foreground. And you can see it in a couple of examples, like the ones over there to the right. The closer the colors are getting to each other, the harder you can, it's harder to distinguish the foreground from the background.
Yeah. But on the left side, you can see some colors that do actually work, like yellow and purple, orange and blue work good together, and even like the whites on other colors.
On a darker color works very well as well.
Yeah, so we also have, if we talk about complementary colors, there's like a color wheel if you search on Google for complementary colors. Mm-hmm. And there are colors in opposite of each other that really work good together, that have the biggest contrast. Like blue and orange, for example, that are opposite of each other in the complementary wheel. Same as for red and green.
That's why we have the blue and the orange in our designs for Tools for Dummies.
Yeah, so most of the time it's really wise to choose two colors that have a big contrast for your logo design, and then you can add some another color that is in the same color palette of orange or blue, for example. So that's it for the colors. So you choose two colors or maybe three colors that have good contrast with each other, and think about the meaning of a color. For example, if you have a communication agency, maybe you want to be creative, or you want to be talkative, or you want to express that you are a really fun young agency, then think about what kind of colors are fitting for that agency.
A little about fonts. Yeah, because we talked about a logo, and the logo consists of an image and a word mark, and the word mark, of course, is made with a certain kind of font. And well, we have very famous logos that are made completely out of only a font, like Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola doesn't even need an image because their font is so recognizable that if you would type out a different brand name in the Coca-Cola font, then you would still see Coca-Cola in it. So that's how good that font is. That also makes it quite difficult to choose a good font, because there are so many. But we can make it a little bit easier if we start by making a choice out of these two fonts as well. And then if we go back to a little question about using colors.
The gradient, yeah.
Can we use a gradient? Yes, you can, because the Instagram logo also uses a gradient. But be very careful in what colors you combine in that gradient.
So no rainbow gradients.
No rainbow gradients, but if you do it the way Instagram does, then yes, of course you can. So it's a bit...
so from red to orange, or from purple to pink.
Yeah, it could be very beautiful.
Yeah.
Then you have a full color logo.
Cool. Okay, fonts.
Yeah. So you, the first choice you're going to make is between these two kinds of fonts. And those are the sans serif and the serif font. And the sans serif, well, that's the more modern looking that you see on the top. And the serif font is the more classic looking that you see at the bottom. And what is the serif? Those are these little kind of decorations that you see sticking out of the letters, and the sans serif doesn't have them. Well, there were all kinds of studies on this, and well, it's not really clear and definitive, but you could say that the sans serif fonts work better on a screen, and the serif font work better on print. So that's why newspapers and books are all printed in serif fonts, and you will see the sans serif appearing more at websites. There are also newspapers who use these two kind of fonts, like our own Telegraaf, are using a combination of serif and sans serif, and NRC newspaper makes use of the serif. But there's another thing about using fonts, and that's that you can use them only in capitals or with small letters as well.
Yeah, because this was the front page when Theo van Gogh was murdered, and he was a famous film director.
Film director, TV maker.
Yeah, so he was murdered in 2001, 3, 4, I don't really know, something around that time period.
Yeah, let's say around that time.
Yeah, and it was the front page, and we have more like a sensational seeker paper, and we have some more objective paper.
More quality newspaper.
Yeah, quality newspaper, more like that. And you can already see at the Telegraaf, the title is slaughtered in big capital letters with a contrasting background, so that immediately grabs your attention. And with the NRC Handelsblad you have that less. You can see a title because the letters are bigger, but they're still kind of small. You can see some more white space in between, and the left cover page is more like all over the place. There's a lot of contrast also in the advertisements they're using with big capital letters.
Yeah, it's more screaming, while the right one is more, well, more gentle, more business-like. I don't know the right word for it.
Yeah, true. So for the
use of capitals and the more friendly-looking small letters. These are two examples, and well, you can make use of fonts and also, well, in combination with product design, to apply to a certain target group. And these are two products, and I think you all know them. The left is the shower gel for men, and the right, Dove, is shower gel made for women. And you can see in the product design and the use of the letters in their logos to which target group these products apply. And it all has to do with, well, the shape in which the bottle is made. So the left one is clearly more manly and a bit, well, tough. And
I can already see like a really man with a beard on the shower and grabbing it with the grip and put it on him.
The shape of the man's body is made into that left bottle, while the right one is soft and rounded, and it's all cliche, but it works.
It really works.
Dove has all these female shapes, and it goes all the way into the logo as well, because if you see the end shapes of every letter, that is rounded as well. There's nothing that's hard on this logo, while with the X logo there clearly is, because all these sharp corners it has. It's a broad wide logo, and it stands firm over there.
And Dove is really soft.
It's soft. It's
soft colors,
touchable. With a little
likeable.
dove under it.
Yeah.
See the difference?
So keep in mind who is your target group.
Yeah, and then you can make use of the fonts and the product design to, well, yeah.
Yeah, same as with Giulia and Giulietta, both cars from Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, so now you know a little bit more on target groups. Which of this car is targeted to the males, and which of this car is targeted to the females? So take a look at the shapes of the car and to the letters that, to the font that they used for the name.
You can also see that in the cars already a bit.
Yeah, so what are the aspects of each car that makes it targeted at the men or the females?
Giulia, male. Yes.
Okay, Giulia, male, Giulietta, female. And what are the reasons for that, you think? Luna agrees.
In the meantime, I see a question from Marcus again. Can't we use the color wheel from Adobe? Of course you can use the color wheel of Adobe.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. I have a question.
Marcos has a question. The logo is wordmark plus trademark. Dove is the wordmark, and the Dove image of the is the trademark. What about Axe? They don't have a trademark, but it's still a logo. Yes, then it's a logo made of just a word. It's a typographic logo, as we call it.
Yeah, so you can have or a word mark and a trademark, or you can have a word mark, or you can have only have
the
trademark. Yeah.
Because Apple never uses the word Apple, not anymore.
Never.
They had this in the past, but they're not. It's just bang, Apple, and with a product name behind it. So that's how recognizable that one is. IKEA is also an example of
only a word mark.
Yeah, only a word mark.
So you can choose. Okay, back to the cars. Giulietta shows more elegance, yes, because it's also a little bit rounded in the font as well.
Yeah, and it's a bit of a script type of letter.
And Giulietta has more accents on the body of the car. Yeah, they have more round shapes in there. Even if you already check the headlights of a car, it is more round than the one from Giulia. and also in the mirrors.
Isn't the Nike wordmark also kind of a logo by itself? Well, yeah, but the thing with the Nike logo is that the complete logo is the wordmark plus the swoosh, but Nike chooses to only use their wordmark on products as well. So you have these shirts or shoes on which you only see the type, the logo type with the letters Nike. So then it could also be a logo, yeah. But to make it a bit more easier, that is the wordmark, the swoosh is the trademark, and the together combined is the logo.
And Joyce says Julia looks more badass, which is more male, I guess.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, I prefer the Julia one as well, but as we said, it's really cliche. They just base it on a stereotype of a target group. So the Julia is more manly because of the manly font as well. It's really like tough looking, and Julietta has more round shapes in there, and yeah, it's more female, so it's based on the females.
But you can still drive the Julia if you want.
Yeah, there's no problem. It's just based on
They
stereotypes,
will
but it
not
does
say
work.
no. They will not say no if
yeah.
you buy the Julia as a woman.
So if you now take a look at these logos again, we can already find out the target group of some of them. For example, Disney has a really playful handwriting in there. It's the own handwriting of Walt Disney, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Intertoys, that's like a game store in the Netherlands. Kids Week is a kids magazine that comes out weekly. And you can also find some of these logos, you can already see what does it mean. Like we already told, some of, another student thought it was about like washing machines, but actually you can see the radio, the audio waves of a frequency, because Philips was the first company that was selling radios in Europe.
Yeah, at least, yeah, one of the first, yeah.
And if you take a closer look at Unilever.
Yeah, the Unilever U. I think it's a great logo because Unilever is active in a lot of markets, and they have all these kind of products that they sell. You can even see the Dove in the top right corner of this logo. But they have this frozen products, so you see that little frozen
icon.
Yeah, icon. And ice cream, fishies, because that's also products that they sell, and some nature things, because they are busy with keeping sustainable. Well, at least they say
they try.
They try. Yeah. But yeah, it's all used in this logo. I really love it.
Yeah, so most logos, they have a history behind it, they have the story behind it. So for example, Lacoste, this is a really funny story. He was a famous French tennis player, and he was playing tennis with a friend of him. And he said, yeah, if you win, you will get like a suit made of crocodile from me. So he won, and when he had the next match, he was traveling all over the world, and he always brought his crocodile suitcase, and that's why they called him the crocodile guy. So that was his nickname. And when he decided that he wanted to do something with clothing, like polos, sport polos, that kind of things, he thought, I will put a crocodile on it.
That's a great story.
Yeah,
and
it was really funny.
It's beautifully worked into a logo.
Yeah. I think the same for Veronica. I think the Dutch people will maybe know the meaning of that.
Yeah, Veronica was well, it still is. It's a broadcasting company, but they all started at sea on this ship. Well, a couple of kilometers from the shore, from Dutch shore, and that's why the logo is blue and it has this wave beneath it. So the history of the organization is visualized in the logo, and it's very great if you're able to do that.
So until now we talked about fonts, we talked about colors, and we talked about the word mark and the trademark. So We have a little exercise in the end of this lecture, but then we're switching to Blackboard again, because then you can show your screen as well. But for now we have some golden rules, and after the golden rules for logo design,
yeah, this stream is over.
the stream is over, and then we go to Blackboard, and you're going to make your own logo sketch. We have 3 rounds. Yeah, so for now, the first golden rule is to keep it simple. So the most simple logos are the easiest to recognize. It doesn't mean that making a simple logo is really easy. It's like the opposite of easy, because it's really hard to make a simple logo. And keep it simple, because then it's also timeless. And overly complex logos often fail to achieve those goals, timeless goals.
Yeah, that's a second reason to keep it simple, because if the shape of your logo is simple, then it's much easier to use it at a large and a small scale, like McDonald's did here with their sauce can and
sauce container,
the container and the billboard. Yeah, because you can imagine, if you think back about Apple's very first logo, it's very hard to see what it's all about if you print that on the back of your phone.
Yeah. And the third rule is a logo should be effective in color and black and white.
Oh, this is the Instagram logo.
This is the Instagram logo.
So you see the gradient that they have.
Yeah. So it's important that you still can recognize what it visualizes in color and in black and white. If you have an overly complex logo in different kind of colors, then it's sometimes harder to recognize her in black and white. But maybe you want to print your logo on shoes, for example, from Nike, or clothing, or on coffee containers. Then you should keep in mind what does my logo look like in different kind of colors, and is it still recognizable. Then the last one, logos can be descriptive and or symbolic. So as you can see, this logo, this is a really symbolic logo. So when Obama was running for president, this was his campaign logo. And you can see the colors of the American flag. You can see a sunrise, and it symbolizes hope. And then this is like a little joke. When Trump was running for president, they, like a journalist, turned the logo of Obama, and you can see his hair now, Trump's hair, which is pretty funny. So this is really a really symbolic logo. Can you name another symbolic logo? Yeah, like the one from Philips.
Yeah, that's also symbolic, and maybe the Veronica one is also.
Yeah, the Veronica
symbolic.
one as well.
Well, it's descriptive because it has this wave, but it's also symbolic because it stands for their history.
Yeah. So then we have the Burger King logo, which is really descriptive, because it's showing its best-selling product, the hamburger. And you can see this logo is a wordmark and trademark in one. So this is a descriptive logo.
We see a burger and they're selling burgers.
Yeah.
So it's quite to the point.
Yes. Yes, so for now, we're going to quit this live stream. It's a little bit complicated, but last time we did it at the same time for the Dutch students, and we had even more delay. So we switched to Blackboard Collaborate 2.1, then you go to Tools, All Classes, and then we're going to do a little exercises with pen and paper. It's going to be really fun. So please switch now to Blackboard Collaborate.
See you there.